Francis Ngannou went on Rogan's show, and he was weighing in specifically about his own takeaways from Stipe Part 1. And Francis is such a big deal. I mean, 2021, when this whole year's done, we could, if things all went well, I mean, that will be the year of the Predator. If everything went well, and Francis becomes the champion by beating Stipe, and that would also mean that Francis beats John Jones. But if he does them all in this year, it's going to be remarkable. So hearing what Francis learned from Part 1 for me is very relevant, because as I watched that fight, it went all 5 rounds, and Stipe won every facet and every round and every exchange and was never in danger. And doesn't look any worse to me today than he was back then, and in some ways looks better. Now, if you were to pay Francis that same compliment and say, well, he's not any worse now, and in many ways he's better, we still have to hear what's going to be different by putting these same guys in there to do the same thing. And the odds makers currently have Francis as a 2.5-1 favorite. The first time I talked to you guys about this, when that line was first announced, Francis started at a 2-1. It has grown to 2.5. So people not only think Francis is going to beat Stipe, they think more strongly, that he's going to beat a guy who's already beat him, and I'm still left at how. And I need to hear it because I was never shown it. Right? Francis got taken down and held there, but I never then saw Francis in a fight where guys were trying to take him down and they failed, or they got him down successfully, but he scrambled and got back up to his feet. If I was shown the answer and I was shown the improvements, I wouldn't need to hear it. Now I just have to hear it. And if you do go back and you watch Francis's fights, okay, they all have an incredible theme, which is Francis hit somebody. And he hit them harder than they were willing to be hit or able to be hit, and he knocked them out, which then begs the question, can Francis win if he can't hit you? And all of the greats, there's an answer, yes. Yes. Because there's intangibles. Yes, he can push the pace. He can get you tired. He can wear you down. He could always catch you with that guillotine, but there's always more answers. With Francis, there's one. Francis hits you, you don't get up. Francis hits you, you hit the canvas. Which still leaves the question, if Francis can't hit him, can Francis win? Are you impressed enough with the clinch work? Are you impressed enough with Francis's ability to push hard? Have you seen fights where Francis has even done that, or even been in a situation where he had to come from behind? It makes it a little bit tougher. I mean, I've been very surprised with the people that are partying with their money. And if they think Francis is going to hit him and knock him out, then God bless you. I'm not here to tell you differently. I'm just asking to get just a little bit deeper of an answer. If you tell me you think Francis is going to beat Stipe, I feel as though you're telling me Francis is going to knock out Stipe. That's how my ears hear it. If you say you think Francis is going to win, I don't think you're telling me it's going to be a long, drawn-out decision and Francis is going to just push a little bit harder or just touch him a couple of more times. I think you're telling me Francis is going to knock out Stipe. And I think you then have to get even a little bit more specific if you're looking at Francis fights. He's going to knock him out with a left or a right hand. A hook coming from this side and an uppercut coming from this side. And it seems as though if you could deduce the big threats are the hands, and you got even more sophisticated, say it's a hook on this side and an uppercut with the other side, it would seem as though you need to first look out for hands, or moreover, look out for the hook or the uppercut. It would seem as though breaking this down isn't quite as complex. Now, much can be said for Stipe. Stipe is not going to come out there and trick you either. He's got the good footwork, he's got the good boxing, he's got good enough wrestling, and he can go all damn night. But that's not going to be a surprise. Both competitors are going to know what to look for. It seems as though the audience is the one that's a little bit surprised. It just goes, well, Francis knocks him out and that's it. Well, why? Why? Because he's faster? I mean, right, the one thing we know about Stipe coming in lighter than Francis is it allowed Stipe to outmove him. It just allowed him to be a little bit quicker for a little bit longer. And now Stipe, if it's in line with what he did with his the last two fights with Daniel Cormier, comes in closer to 230 than he is to 240. I think it's fair. Maybe those takedowns aren't there. Maybe that makes it easier for Francis to get up off the bottom with those 10 pounds of muscle missing. I mean, I'm open to all of these debates. I would love to hear them. I'd love to have the conversation. I feel as though we just shut the book on all dialogue when we simply say Francis is going to win and that's it. Well, let's not do that. That could be true, but let's not do that. Let's have a little bit of fun before this fight comes up, and let's start with what is going to be different. How is he trained different? How does he view this different? And with what evidence do you have? And this would have to be a training room story because nobody's got on top of Francis since Stipe did. And I can't recall anybody, feel free to correct me, that even tried to get him down. They all seem to stand there somewhere in the pocket for a moment too long and wake up staring at the lights.